Siamo al Club Suisse della Presse di Ginevra e oggi il direttore del CERN, Heuer, presenterà in conferenza stampa gli eventi relativi a questo mese di conferenze e di celebrazioni che riguardano i 60 anni del CERN.
Well, you might ask, why are we celebrating 60 years of CERN? Well, 60 years is a big achievement for a large laboratory like CERN, for a laboratory which is essentially doing basic physics, fundamental physics. And in my public lectures I usually state 60 years of CERN and we are still attractive. We're still attractive because, as you have maybe realized, is that CERN is expanding in terms of membership, which after at such an age is also something remarkable. First of all, a few years ago we have taken the conscious decision to change in a jokey way the meaning of the E in CERN from Europe to everywhere, which means we can accept now member states from independent of their geographical location, which I think is a big step forward because science is global. So it has been already since many decades a sort of global and international lab, and that should also be reflected in its membership. So over these 60 years, CERN has made a lot of contributions to particle physics, to the understanding of the microcosm. That means on the question of how does it come that we can exist physically from the point of view of composition and rules in the laws of the microcosm. At the same time, we are the ones who can try to understand the processes in the early universe in a very good way, in a much better way than others, because we are reproducing the conditions of the early universe very shortly after the Big Bang. We are not reproducing the Big Bang, in order to be absolutely clear. We're just reproducing conditions shortly after the Big Bang. So we have contributed to what I would say is today the understanding or the description of the visible universe. That's a so-called standard model of particle physics, which just describes the visible universe. It took us more than 50 years to describe the visible universe. It was culminating in the discovery of the Higgs boson, the messenger of the Paul-Anger Higgs mechanisms, 2 years ago. And this has really completed now our description of the standard of the visible universe. But you all know that this is just barely 5% of the universe, so we still have a lot to do. We have 95% of the universe not very well known to us, the dark matter and the dark energy. And this is hopefully the next step. We will see. We can only keep our fingers crossed. Out of this research, also a lot of applications were coming out of that. For example, the World Wide Web. We are not only celebrating 60 years of CERN, we are also celebrating 25 years of the World Wide Web. And this is still not known to everybody that the World Wide Web was born at CERN. It was 25 years ago. Another very good example is medical application, because it combines, and CERN is not the only institute, I just want to make this disclaimer clearly, but it combines the result of basic science itself, that means the research on antimatter. After all, we are using antimatter in the hospital, PET, plasma emission tomography, and at the same time we are using for this and also for hadron therapy the instruments, the technologies which are developed for basic science. So this is just one example, or two examples of the technologies coming out. So we decided not only to celebrate the event here in the Geneva region, if you allow me to say it like this, but also in the individual member states, in order to show that CERN is there for the member states. We are there with the member states, but we also there for the member states. Which of course means a lot of travel for the Director General, but tant pis. But this is a happy travel compared to other travels. And we had I think I have already done 11 events this year, and I still have to do a few more events. I cannot go to all of them, but we have eventually all countries who have either one or even several events in the course of the year. I consider this as a very good success, and also to show We are here for you. But then the more official, the central events, we started 1st of July at UNESCO headquarters in Paris. Why 1st of July? Because 1st of July 1953, that means 61 years ago, the convention was signed by 12 states, the CERN Convention. Now the CERN Convention has then to be ratified by the parliaments, and on the 29th of September 1954, I think if I'm not mistaken, 7 out of the 12 had ratified. At least the majority had ratified. And this is the official birthday of CERN. So this is why we celebrate them in September, a lot of things here, from a special council session up to the 29th of September main event. And we also closed then the event series of September-October in New York on the 20th of October in the UN headquarters with a symposium on CERN and science for CERN, from CERN for peace. At the moment we have the agreement from Secretary General Ban Ki-moon that he would participate in the event.
Rosalba Nattero, Sham newspaper. After the discovery of the Higgs boson, which is the big challenge for CERN, the next big challenge?
Well, first of all, we can say it is a Higgs boson. I cannot say it is the Higgs boson, and that's a huge difference. If I say it's the Higgs boson, then it's the only one. But we are not sure if it's the only one, because, as I told you, we only describe now nearly 5% of the universe. Many theories going beyond that description into the what I call the dark universe require more than one Higgs boson. The problem is, if you just, it's not true, I just use as an example two, okay? Take as an example, you have two Higgs bosons, they are like twins, okay? And it's very difficult to distinguish twins one from each other. And if you are unlucky, the two twins, well, twins are always two, okay? But you know what I mean. The two are looking so much alike that it's very difficult to distinguish them. It's only when they open their mouth and one of them expresses one word differently to the other. But you have to get that guy speaking this one word, talking this one word. That can take a long time, and that's what we have in front of us. The biggest challenge is now to find out, is there only one, or are there more than one Higgses? And if there are more than one, then the one which we have now should speak slightly differently to us, as if it would be the only one. The difference can be large, and it will take not very long. The difference can be very small, and then it will take very long. That's one challenge. The other challenge is to see, is there anything beyond the so-called standard model? That means something beyond the visible, the description of the visible universe. Do we find the first indication of particles of dark matter, for example? That's the other challenge. So, in any case, we have at least set up a program for the Large Hadron Collider for the next 20 years. And then, as one of your colleagues already mentioned, we are doing a study of a more powerful accelerator, because we have to start early enough to think for the next project, because it takes a long time to develop the instrumentation and everything. So we have a clear plan for the 20 years and a more or less clear plan for the next 50 years. Or let's put it, because it's the 60th anniversary, for the next 60 years. Okay?
Thank you. Which is your most personal satisfaction in these years at CERN?
Well, that's difficult to say, because in my heart I'm still a researcher. So to have a discovery during my term of in the 5 years was, of course, a fantastic event, and an event which I will never forget in my life, and which I still have to digest. But on the other hand, over all the time, what I admire most is the fact that, independent where the people come from, independent what culture they have, they show that they are able to work constructively together. And if you look around in the world, what happens today, it's more and more needed to have at least small kernels where you can show that you can work together, and otherwise one loses the hope, I think.
Thank you very much.